listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast, coming to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Your source for UFC news, previews, and post-fight coverage. Hosted by your favorite duo, Darren and Asher. Let's get it started.
Hello guys, and welcome back to MMA Brothers Podcast. It's Darren.
My name is Asher, and today we have a special guest with us, guys. His name is Gathan. He's from Liverpool. He's a nutritionist and he's an MMA fan, and he's worked with UFC fighters as well. Shout out to Gathan. Gathan, how are you doing, man?
How's it going, boys? You okay?
Doing great, man. We're excited to have you on the podcast to talk about some nutrition, talk about, some of the fighters you worked with, and just the UFC pay-per-view 254 that's happening this Saturday. And first things first, man. How's everything going?
Everything's good, to be honest. Obviously, with what's going on at the moment in the world, it's a bit different with working in the gyms and working with people individually. So a lot of it is going online based, if you like. But hopefully, next couple of months we start going back to normality and we can really start working more in depth with individuals, to be honest with you. How's everything over your side?
We're on two different sides. In Canada, cases are rising, and it's quite interesting in our area. At certain places, they're doing spot shutdowns here and there. But for the most part, it's looking bad now, but I think it should stabilize within the next few weeks, hopefully, and then we can get back to some semblance of normality. How's it going over in South Korea, Asher?
Yeah, so I'm in South Korea right now. I'm an English teacher, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just abroad. I don't know if I know people from England do the same thing as well. So I decided to take a year and come here and teach while this whole Corona thing's happening, because South Korea has actually been one of the countries that have dealt with it very well. So the cases are very minimal. It's usually less than 100 a day. So yeah, I mean, even though like the cases are super low, a lot of people are very, very still like cautious and wear their masks. And, I haven't gone to Seoul yet, like since I've been here, because I'm afraid that if I go to Seoul, which is kind of like the hotspot for Corona, they have like a few dozen cases every day. So I feel like if I'm that guy that goes and then gets everyone at the school sick, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm a foreigner here. So I kind of try to watch myself, but that's pretty much the Corona situation. But I want to ask you, so how did you get into nutrition? And then,
That was my question as well.
So what it was, obviously been a chef. I've been a chef for now since I've left college, so about 8-9 years. And at the same point, I've really enjoyed MMA and boxing, and been a fan for years of boxing, well before MMA. And then started going into MMA, and then there was a job offer in Liverpool. It was at a healthy restaurant, so I went there, got the interview, and it was with ex-UFC fighter Paul Kelly. So he was doing the interview, and bear in mind, I had no idea that he was going to be there. I just thought it was a new restaurant in Liverpool that I wanted to get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I had an interview with him. I, at the time, didn't get the job, went back to work, but I kind of kept in touch, because obviously being a fan, I was going back and forth having food, and somehow from each other, a place came available, and I started working there. And through that, then I really started courses, and really went more into depth of the nutrition and bringing the food, the science, and the MMA into one big part, if you like. And it just fell like that. And obviously, the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. And to be honest, I don't really find it as a job. I find it more as a hobby, because I'm enjoying it that much. It's two things that I really enjoy day to day. And as you mean, I got very lucky in working with Paul for a couple of his fights, and working with other lads from Bellator whilst working in Healthy Box as well. So yeah, and since then it's just been growing and being at the right place at the right time, if you like.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so interesting, man. And from the outside looking in, it looks like you found your niche and you're really enjoying what you do, and you get to work with people who you admire, right? As we said, that you're a big fighting fan. As you said, you're a boxing fan, MMA fan, and all of
Yeah.
them need nutritionists in order for them to make weight for their fights and do everything about that. So kind of walk us through the two fighters in the UFC that you're currently working with or worked with in the past, Tom Aspinall and Darren Till. How did you get involved with those guys?
So obviously we were stuck in quarantine with COVID. We were in lockdown and everything, and obviously working. I don't currently work in Healthy Box at the moment. I left just before Christmas, and I get a phone call saying, "Listen, Darren's going to be fighting in July against Whitaker. How are you feeling about running nutrition on his points?" And I was like, "Pardon?" You know what I mean? I was like, you sure? You sure? Then I went down to the gym, met him, met Darren and his coach, and Paul were there, and we had a conversation and said what we wanted to do. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Just explained what was needed, how much time we had to get to weight, get to the best possible condition we could. And a couple of weeks in, got speaking to Tom, and I said, "Listen, you're fighting as well. If you want me to do your food as well, I'm cooking the food daily for them. It's not just, and Tom was like, "Yeah, please. I've never had someone in depth to do this for me. Please do it." And as I say, it's an absolute pleasure working with both of them. Obviously, the scale of Darren's name is just unbelievable. And then Tom as well, coming on as strong as he is at the moment, it's just he's an absolute wrecking ball. Absolute wrecking ball. But having to watch him train, that is just something that you can't put money on. Watching him train day by day, seeing stuff that you don't see on the cameras, and that's just like, it's difficult to explain until you've been there, sort of thing, and been to a gym where you've got 15, 20 pros all sparring and doing. Everyone's the alpha male in their own eyes, and it's having that in little rivalries that that aren't really bad blood sort of thing, but like
they're trying to make iron sharpens iron, right? They're trying to get after each other and make each other better.
Of course, and having to see a full camp from scratch to finish and seeing, how it works, and because obviously I was quite lucky that was my first proper camp. So to fall into that, and that obviously how big of a scale it was, closing Fight Island with some absolute legends on that card. You got Little Nog, Shogun Rua, you got such huge names. It was just, I'd say I was quite lucky. Let's say quite lucky.
I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, you could have been in like an embedded video or something, and it just they show your name, like Darren Till's Nutritionist. It's like, oh my God, right? Like, this is just my first camp. This is all so crazy, right?
I know. I was a bit gutted not to go over, but obviously with limited numbers allowed, and obviously with the UFC PI being as good as they are, can you imagine if another 35, 40 nutritionists were going over it as well? The bubble just gets big, and I think UFC have dealt with it really well the way they have, with the amount of tests they're doing and doing. You expect a positive test every now and again, and that just means that the system's working over at Abu Dhabi and over in Vegas. So hopefully one day we'll go with that. Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And the interesting thing is, it's nice hearing an insight from an actual nutritionist as yourself, talking about how cool the fighting experiences, because you guys are fans just like us, except you get to work hand in hand with these people. And I just I have a question for you. Explain to me how you break down, like, in layman's terms that idiots like me can understand, how you can just, through food, diet them down to the exact amount of pounders they need to be to make the scale. Like, how does that come about?
So first thing I personally listen, people, some of them nutritionists might listen to this and go, that's not the way I do it, and that's okay. I mean, that's fine. But the way I looked at it myself was I worked out what the weight difference was from current weight to fight weight, and work out an average of how much weight is safe to lose between now and then. Then work out the total daily energy expenditure, so how many calories he's burning a day. We're including the exercise. Obviously, the intensity is more important than anything there. So quite luckily, every session that they do is quite high intense. So you need to refuel as best you can. You need to make sure everything's as good as you can, and just work it backwards if you like. So if they're fighting at this weight, you work backwards. How many? I mean, what weight do you feel comfortable cutting weight? And then you take that off, then you know exactly how many weeks you got. Say now you've got 10 weeks, you got, let's say, 20 pounds to cut, including your 7 that you're going to cut. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. So you got 2 pounds or 5 pounds, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You break it down evenly. And that's how I did it with Dan, to be honest with you. And making sure you get the right recovery food more than anything, and working carbs around his training and doing everything. And obviously you've probably seen a post about the keto side of things. We got a bit of backlash about that, but the people are giving a lot of opinions, thinking that it was a full camp of keto, which it wasn't. And just want to clear that out. It was not. It was a couple of weeks, and that was it. Doing a lot of people have come out saying their opinion on and giving their 10 pence in, if you like, about the keto situation. And it wasn't a full camp at all. It was 10 to 12 days, doing 2 weeks maximum. And you know what? How many people really go into ketosis stage in 2 weeks? I mean, you're gonna be in, but some people might not even be in then. So yeah.
No, 100%.
I just wanted to get that side out of it.
No.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, actually, like you said, that was like your first camp, which is a cool experience. But I can only imagine like what the pressure was of the previous nutritionist when Darren Till was fighting at 170. Do you remember like how much weight? Like he's a big dude and he cut a lot of weight. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good friends with his old nutritionist. I spoke a lot to him, and he got him to 170. And you know what? Credit to him. I mean, Dan's a tall lad. I mean, big. Legs are massive. I mean, they're like my waist. Honestly, I can't believe that he gets to 170. I mean, he's just but I can't give his old nutritionist enough credit for the work he did. I mean, I'll never slate anyone else's work. I mean, it's no one likes to be slated for the job, so it's not my place to criticize anyone else. So yeah, I can't give him enough credit for getting him to 170.
Yeah, like I mean, you guys are kind of like the unsung heroes of MMA, right? Because like weight cutting is like it's not a big problem, but like it can be a problem for a lot of fighters, right? I know some fighters just take it on their own.
Nutrition.
Yeah, exactly. And there's very, very few nutritionists out there. I forgot his name, but there's a guy that's really popular in the UFC, or was, and he's kind of like a big dude. Like, what's his name? He's like a very famous nutritionist. I'm sure it's gonna hit me later.
George Lockhart?
Yes, George Lockhart, right? George Lockhart is like a very famous name that you hear in the UFC of, is like that guy, like people hire him and stuff, right? So it also does show that even though like a lot of them aren't like famous or well known, that you can make your name for yourself and have like your own systems and branding of how you do things, right? I don't know if it's him that believes in the whole water system, where it's like you just have to drink so much water. And I think it's like Chael Sonnen and a couple other fighters are saying that like he just keeps on giving me all this water that I need to keep drinking and stuff, right? So I guess every nutritionist has like their way of doing things.
And to be honest, a lot of my methods are very similar to his. And I mean, he's got majority of the I say majority. I don't know if it's a majority in whole, but a lot of the nutritionists that are currently in the UFC, a lot of them have come from a lot of his courses. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot that's gone to university and done different courses. I'm not going to say what's right and wrong, but a lot have gone through him, and a lot of the fighters are under his wing. If you get me, might not be under him specifically, but it might be someone who's done his course or something. Do you know what I mean? There's a branched out sort of thing. So a lot of it, I think the system is very similar in everyone, which the message is getting the fighter. It's not just getting them on weight; it's getting them there as safe as possible and as healthy as possible, and making sure that they perform to their full potential and full maximum. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just when you were saying about the water, that would have been probably water loading, which had been about 10 days out, where they start drinking 10 litres of water, or 7 to 10 litres of water per day for a couple of days, and then you cut it down and slowly cut everything down, which is, I mean, when it comes to weight cutting, it's a lot easier just to get rid of the water sort of thing, so you're not actually trying to struggle to cut 3 pounds of fat.
Yeah, so quick question on that. So you're saying, depending on the person, you want them to consume a high amount of water to increase their water weight throughout the process of cutting weight, and then right when they need to lose a lot of water weight, that's when you start pulling that water from their diet?
So 10 days out, you start your water loading, depending on your size and everything, how much water, obviously. Then when it comes to the Tuesday before, so let's say fights on Saturday. Let me just make it easy for myself. The Tuesday before, you would take out the sodium, so you take out all the extra salts, and then the Wednesday you would stop the water. Then on Thursday you would start your weight cutting slowly. Weight cutting slowly. Then obviously Friday you'd make weight.
So then how do they keep hydrated without consuming water?
When they cut the weight, there is no water. You don't give water. The only water. So depending how bad, this is why it has to be done properly. Do you know what I mean? You can't just. So the only way. So say now a fighter is struggling to cut weight. You could give him. Listen, everyone's method's different. So you might listen to this and go, "That's not right." Everyone's method's different. You could give him ice cube and take it out, just to give the tongue a feeling that it's not doing too dry, sort of thing. You just give them an ice cube, and that helps a little bit with the dehydration.
So for essentially 2 to 3 days, you don't consume any water or do you consume any liquids that could give you hydration?
No. So Wednesday would be your last day of drinking water until Friday, and this is why when they come to Friday, they're drink sort of thing.
Oh, okay. That sounds, I'm a bit of a soft guy myself, so I'm not going to self-proclaim that I could be a fighter or anything, but it sounds horrible. Essentially from Wednesday to Friday, no water, no liquids are going to be going into your system.
Wednesday night, depending on how much weight you need to lose, you might be fine. You could be eating on the Thursday if you're on weight. You could be eating Thursday before. You don't starve the fighters. I'm not saying you starve you. I'm not saying don't make them eat for 2 weeks. I'm not saying anything like that. But a lot of it's becoming more normal now for fighters to be eating on the day of the weigh-ins and stuff, because there's safer methods of weight cutting, and there's safer methods of doing stuff. And every few months you see that there's safer things, or every year, sorry, a few months is a bit too quick, but every year you see new studies of how to weight cut better and different methods that people are doing. And I think people are getting together a little bit more about how to do it safer. I've been in contact with a lot of nutritionists who are in the UFC. A lot of it asking advice, asking what method do you use, because listen, I don't know everything. I won't claim to say doing, but if I'm not sure, I'd rather go out and reach out and go, listen, I'm a little bit stuck on this method. How would you go around? As I say, you don't know everything, so I'm not going to sit in and go, this is the right way, this is the wrong way.
That's
Do you know
cool
what I
that
mean?
like you know you guys are kind of like a community and you're learning from each other. So I kind of have like a two-part question. So the first part is there like a limit to, maybe let's just say, like, we have fighters like TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt that said, I can make 125. TJ made it and Cody Garbrandt was going to, or at least going to try to make it against his fight with Figueiredo. Number one, do nutritionists say no, like, to certain fighters, or like are most of them just like, yes, we can do it, it's possible, like there's no, like, like in their mind, like you can always make that weight with the right nutrition and the right preparation? That's the first question. The second question is, when you're doing your meal prep and stuff, like, is like, for example, for the Darren Till fight camp or with Tom, do you have to create, like, make their breakfast, lunch, and dinner and stay with them, I guess, pretty much every day of the fight camp, or you kind of just like prepare meals for the week and then like give it to them, and like how does that work?
So for the first part of the question, I have seen nutritionists, I wouldn't say turn down fighters, but say that it's a bit too much to be doing in that time frame. And I'm not against weight cutting one bit, and I'm not for it. I mean, I understand why they do it. I understand completely why weight cutting is a thing. But I also understand that there are dangers to it if it's not done properly. So I'm on. Do you know what I mean? I'm very thing about that. And if a fighter was to come to me and say, "Listen, I've got this much weight to lose," and I was to go, "Listen, I don't think that's a safe thing for you to do."
Okay.
I'd be comfortable in saying, I mean, I'd be happy to say, no, I think you should look at maybe moving up to 125, or do you know what I mean, a 135 sort of thing. Not, but that all depends on a fighter as well. Bear in mind, they are fighters, they're very strong-minded. So a lot of them are like, no, I can do it. I'll do it, sort of thing. So yeah, a lot of it is down to the fighter and the coach. Doing what Yeah, I'm trying not to get myself into a thing here.
No, I know. I'm not.
No,
I'm not
yeah,
trying
you
to
don't need
put
to.
you into a
Yeah.
corner saying like, yes, deny fighters. Don't get me wrong. I was just trying to get like a feeling for what it's like, not just for you, but for most nutritionists in general, because you do hear of these extreme weight cutting situations, and we're gonna transition to Jared Cannonier soon, because I know he's an example of somebody that has benefited a lot from, obviously weight cutting, but. I guess I'll give you a chance to answer the second part of the question in terms of like the meal prep. Do you do work? Are you with them pretty much like 8 hours a day doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or do you just do it for the week and stuff?
For both Tom's camps and for the first camp I did, which was Fire Island, I would cook the food at home in my kitchen at home, put it in like little Tupperwares, take it down to the gym. That would be a day by day. So every day, that's your post workout, that's your lunch, that's your dinner, and that's your little snack or whatever. I mean, that would be day to day. And sometimes I'd get a phone call saying, "Listen, I'm hungry. I want more food. What's going on?" Do you know what I mean? And obviously I'd pop down, and if there's obviously food need making, I'd do it at home and take it over. Um, but with Tom's last one, I did it every couple of days. And I mean, Tom will have his own breakfast at home. Then I meet him in the gym, take his food to him for the couple of days, maybe. It all depends on what they prefer as well. Because Darren preferred me to take it every day for him. Basically, I mean, if it's not there, it's not. That means it's not a temptation to eat the rest of the food. Do you know what I mean?
True.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I was doing it day by day, working with Healthy Box doing it. So I'd say it was good. It was enjoyable. I was putting what I love doing in cooking, and then going down to the gym and obviously watching them train, and I was taking notes of the intensity and recovery levels, and going through during the sessions, having certain stuff during the sessions to keep the energy levels high. And I'd say it's good. And obviously, hopefully we go back in very soon. As I say, I can't say too much.
Of course. Yeah,
No,
just say
no, of
whatever you
course.
can. We don't want to get
Yeah,
you in
you don't
trouble.
have to get into too many details. We're just
there
trying to
might there
get.
might be some fight news soon. That's all I say. Eh?
Ooh. We might have to do
But
another episode with you soon if that's what you're trying to let us know.
of course, I'll say straight when it's out, I'll be like, well, that's what I knew, sort of thing.
Exactly. So yeah, no worries, man. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Darren Till, like he has a fight with Jack Hermanson, no? Like is
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
5th of
supposed
December.
to,
Yeah.
it's yeah. Is it already booked or it's supposed to be booked?
It seems to be booked. I'd say I've only briefly spoke to Darren with
No,
his
because
knee surgery and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I've not really seen too much in the gym, so yeah, I believe it's booked. But I don't take my word on it. I'm not doing. I'm not confirming it if it's not confirmed. But from what I've seen on UFC and
Yeah, no, and Darren's pretty active on social media. He's so funny. Just a little quick personal question: is he that witty even in person, or is he just like on? Like he tones it down in person? He's like that too.
he's hilarious. I think he's one of the funniest people I've met. He comes out with things that you would never A, think of saying to someone, and B, think of saying in general. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't even cross your mind, but he's just very, very
Witty. Yeah, he's
very
very
quick.
witty. He's very quick. His raw dog thing that he's doing right now is absolutely hilarious. Oh man, Darren. Yeah, but we just want to get it because there's only about 9 minutes left in the thing. We'd love to ask you about Jared Cannonier and what you think nutrition played a role in getting him down to where he currently is at now.
Because he was a heavyweight, and go heavyweight to middleweight. It's supposed to be the other way around. Listen, I've got massive respect for him. Him and Whittaker. Wow. These main card, this co-main and main card, I'm split. I'm so split. I want both sides to win both fights, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
but yeah, Cannonier is an animal.
He's a beast, right? And one quick side note before we continue with Cannonier, it's crazy how someone like Cannonier has benefited extremely through weight cutting, and then the opposite with like someone like Thiago Santos, where like he stopped weight cutting and then he moved up in weight, and then that's also a nutritional thing, right? Some fighters maybe they're cutting too much weight and they're not effective and they don't fight that well, and then they actually going to be better in a higher weight class if they're eating right and they're feeling good every day, sleeping right, and all that stuff. So it's crazy how nutrition can play a factor both sides of it, right?
100%.
So but yeah, in terms of Cannonier, like the guy's an animal. He's undefeated so far, I'm pretty sure at middleweight, and beating Jack Hermanson. And I know Anderson Silva is old, but he's been dusting people pretty much in the division. But I'm picking Whittaker to win because I think he's going to be the slicker fighter. He's a more experienced fighter. The only person he has lost to in middleweight is Israel Adesanya. So
and Yoel Romero, but he got robbed. But anyways,
okay,
we'll talk
whatever.
about that another time.
Yes, but that to me, I just have a feeling that it's a 3-round fight. I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling that Jared. Yeah, I have a feeling that Whittaker will just be able to, dodge those heavy strikes of Cannonier. But who do you have?
I don't know. I think Whittaker. I think he gets hit a bit too easily, and I think the range is going to favor Cannonier massively, isn't it? So I don't know. I think that's a tough one to call. I'd love to see Whittaker come back and get that belt back. Unless he has to fight Till, then obviously I hope that Till wins.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do like. I don't know, the way that Cannonier put Hermanson away is just Hermanson's an animal. So this whole planning out, the middleweight I think it's one of the most exciting divisions at the moment. If you put Shimev in there as well, Kamzat, put him in there as well, and then you're just like, this group of 10 people are just, I mean, they're absolute killers, all of them. But I'm going to go Whittaker. I really am. I think Whittaker's going to do it. I think he's going to get a decision. I
No,
think he'll just do enough to get the decision and get back to that belt. Don't think he beats it. Is he? I reckon, right? This is how I think it's going to plan out, this middleweight division. I'm going to call it now. So 2020, we're calling it now. Whitaker beats Cannonier. Till beats Hermanson. Izzy beats Whitaker. Till fights Izzy, and Till beats Izzy.
Wow, bold, and I like it. I don't agree with the Jared getting beaten by Rob. I think Jared gets by Rob, loses to Izzy. Till beats Hermanson. Jared loses to Izzy, and then Till beats Izzy. I'm a huge Darren Till fan. Trust me. You can ask my brother. I've been since he was at welterweight. Like, this is the
Don't worry, Daryl. It's gonna happen. You're gonna be interviewing Till soon. Don't worry.
It would make my life. He's just so funny. He's a Liverpool guy. He's not Everton. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything about Darren is just, I don't know. But
I personally think that, listen, this is my opinion. This is not anyone else doing kicking off. I think that Izzy is better stylistic fights for Darren than Whitaker was.
Because of the blitz style?
Because, yeah, it's more kickboxing, Muay Thai sort of striking match. Whitaker, very, very good all round. Listen, I still think 3-2 till that fight and until that takedown at the end, but we won't go into politics about that. But yeah, what's your opinion on Gaethje, Khabib?
It's gonna be extremes on both ends. It's either Khabib goes there and does what he does, or Justin goes out there and takes him out really quickly. It's not going to be a decision Justin Gaethje win. It's not happening. Khabib's never losing a decision unless Justin stuffs every takedown and peppers him on the feet and keeps stuffing. That's not going to happen, right? So I think it's going to be Justin winning by TKO in the second round. I think he's going to pepper Khabib's legs in the first round. Khabib's going to shoot. He's going to get stuffed. Second round comes on. He's going to shoot right into a knee, and it's going to be game over. That's my prediction. Asher, you go, and then get to give his.
I'm picking Gaethje too, but I think he's going to do it a different way. I do think that he's going to be taken down. I do think he'll be grounded and pounded, but I do think he's just that guy that can take ungodly amounts of punishment. His striking is amazing. He has good wrestling, but it's not on Khabib's level. So I just have a feeling that, like Daryl said, with the leg kicks and with just like Gaethje's hands, that he's just going to be able to hit Khabib, and like he will still be there in the fourth and fifth rounds, like striking. He's the guy that you have to kill pretty much in order for him to stop fighting. So I just have a feeling that the stars are going to align for Gaethje, and it's just going to happen. And it's so sad, obviously, because of the whole recent events with Khabib and his family and stuff. So I don't want him to lose, but like I just have a feeling that it's Gaethje's time. Who you got?
I think with what's happened to Khabib, he's going to come out a complete different animal. He's got a point to prove. And I think the legacy and all this, I want him to fight GSP more than anything. I would love to see that fight. Also love to see a rematch with Conor, 100%, whatever. I'm going split decision on Khabib. Just for the simple fact, I think Gaethje will have his number, but just not quite enough to win the fight. To beat a champion, you've got to get him out of there. Unfortunately, I think Abu Dhabi are not going to give Gaethje the decision.
Unless it's a landslide win for Justin, and we all see that there's no way they could rob him. I see where you're coming through with that.
And I think that I think wrestling, and I honestly think Khabib will be tasting his own blood on Saturday night.
I have a feeling that
he's not coming out of there unscathed.
No chance. And I do believe that it will be a split decision on Khabib, and I can't see Khabib losing. No chance. Not even. You could give Gaethje needs a knockout to win that fight, to get a draw even.
The knockout to lose a split decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and just we're almost out of time here, so we just wanted to give you to thank you for your time. It's been lovely having you on. It's incredible the journey you're on. Yeah, I'm serious. It's been a pleasure having you on. You're on to great great things. Your word's going to spread about you as a nutritionist. I was looking at your Instagram profile. You're doing great work with that kid who's down, was it 10 kgs in a month or 2 months I saw on your profile?
Yeah. That was just one of a friend of mine that wants to help losing weight, and I mean, it's educating them as well, isn't it? I mean, it's not just losing weight and getting them on the way, it's educating them in sustainable weight loss in the future.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any plugs you want to say? Just shout out your Instagram where people can get a hold of you and
Instagram, G.E Nutrition. I'm on Twitter and Facebook as well, G.E Nutrition. If you want to get on that, hit like, share, follow, fucking get it all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Thank you very much as well. It's an absolute pleasure being on with you.
Thank you, and we're guaranteed we're gonna have you on again, especially after the fights, and then we'll try and break down some future fights as well.
Get me on. I'll say I enjoy breaking down fights and enjoy having a chat with you lads.
Exactly. Right, same thing with me. Just before we leave, the Manchester United Liverpool game, I'm definitely having you on after the game, win or loss. Okay.
We'll do a live stream whilst it's on.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, man.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a follow on our socials. You can check out a description of this episode for more, but don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at MMA Brothers Pod. We'll see you on the next episode.